My oodles and noodles. We are back. We have returned for another geekathon where we pretend that we're like the biggest tittle geeks in the world. So fun. We are going to talk about the Codex Alera today. The first book is called Furies of Calderon. This book right here. And this is one of as far as I know, it's the first, in a certain sense, kind of like pure high fantasy-ish book that Jim Butcher has done, because he's most well known for his Dresden Files, which is more of a modern day sorcerer, normal kind of thing, story set in the city and stuff like that. So, I mean, this is way off how the Dresden Files goes. Although I've heard in the later books in the Dresden Files, he gets a lot more high fantasy-ish and more magic and world ending problems and stuff like that. But from what I've read so far in the Dresden Files, it's relatively kind of it's not YA, but it's not YA. Never mind. Ignore I said that. I don't know what I'm talking about. To be honest, I don't know what I'm talking about. But to go back to Furies of Calderon, I do know what I'm talking about because I've read it like 4 times, 5 times, 4, 5. It is one of the most enjoyable books I've ever read. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. Everything has problems. But it is such a fun read. It has this perfect mesh of action, magic, consequences, politics, world building. It's just everything flows so well. It is one of the most well-paced books ever, as far as I'm concerned. Even the series as well. There's some parts in the series that slow down a little bit, but really Furies of Calderon is on fire the whole way through. And we are following a young boy by the name of Tavi. And Tavi lives in a world where there are magical creatures known as Furies. And basically what Furies are, in a certain sense, you would think of them as elementals. They are spirits of the land. They are embodiments of fire and earth, water, wind. And so people are bonded to Furies. They usually they come into their Furies at a certain age, usually by the time they're early teens. They start to manifest certain Furies, and there's different strengths to each kind of Fury. Every person has their own unique abilities. To a degree, obviously, most people have Wind Fury, for example. They all can do sort of the similar things, but depending on your strength levels, you can start developing different abilities and do different things than other people can. So, for example, not everyone has a Wind Fury can fly, but some of the stronger ones, and especially who develop the skill, can learn to fly. People who have a Water Fury can eventually learn to communicate over vast distances through the water. So all these little things. So that's a really interesting kind of soft, hard magic system that kind of ebbs and flows depending on the moment. I mean, sometimes things are explained, but most of the time I would say it's more of a softer magic system. But it's just super, super fun. And what makes it sort of amplified is that our main character, Tavi, does not have Furies. He's very, very young at this point, but he should have developed Furies already by his age, but it seems like he is not going to get any. And so he's kind of looked down upon by quite a few people. He's looked at as this kind of freak who doesn't have Furies. And it's kind of fun for us as the readers because this book series makes it pretty clear that the general premise, the idea for the story came that there's a sort of myth in Roman history that a legion went missing and nobody knows where they went. And so in this series, the people who are living there, the Alerans, are those missing people. They're the legions who popped up in this land and who have spread out now over the centuries and centuries that they've been there. And there are some interesting other people within this world. There's the Marat, who are sort of humanoid in a certain sense, but you can think of them more as indigenous kind of tribal people who are interesting in that they bond to animals. So there's 4 tribes, I believe. I think there's sort of an insinuation that there might be more, or there have been more before. But these people, they bond to certain kinds of animals, like Garganta, or like, I can't even really describe how they are. It sounds like they're just basically gigantic elephant kind of like creatures. Not too sure on that one. Some people are bonded to giant wolves. And so you have these people, and the people who bond to them take on the characteristics of that animal. It amplifies their strength, their speed. They're definitely stronger than the average human. But what differentiates them from the Alerans is that the Alerans can use Furies, and other cultures and people cannot. So that's how the Alerans have been kind of fighting back against all these indigenous people, is by the use of Furies. And we don't know where Furies came from, why Alerans can use them. It's not really explained at this point, but it's still pretty fascinating. The story stays pretty tight, pretty simplistic in a certain sense, because we are primarily following through Tavi's perspective, although we do have another character who we follow, who I am completely and utterly blanking, and I'm ashamed of myself. Oh my god, I can't believe I cannot remember her name. I am Amara. I literally just finished this book the other day. Old age, people. Old age, it hits, and it hits hard. So Amara is our other point of view, primarily. You're pretty much looking at Tavi and Amara. Tavi and Amara. I got it, people. Tavi and Amara. We're pretty much looking through their point of view. We do see a little bit of other people, but those are our two main characters, really, of this book. And they are fascinating. Amara is what is called a cursor. She is sort of basically directly responsible for reporting to the king, the emperor, the leader of the Alerans. And she is on a mission, and her mission goes shit sideways. She's betrayed. She gets screwed up, finds out a whole bunch of stuff is happening that she's not supposed to have found out about, and now she's on the run. She's trying to get the information she needs to get to the right people, and her and Tavi, they smush together, their paths cross, and they become entangled together in this web of trying to stop this plot against the kingdom of the Alerans. And there's way more complexity to it, and there's a lot of little nuggets that you can tell the story is way bigger than that, but the way it's all placed together is just fantastic. You love Tavi. Amara is really, even though she's kind of a one-sided character, she's still really well done, so you don't really mind. And these side characters, and especially the enemies within this novel, are there's no black and white. There's shades of gray. Everyone has complexity to them. Everyone has depth. You feel the emotion of things, and it's just really, really, really great. I personally think the action scenes in this book are just super, super well done. Whether it's hand-to-hand combat or just, heck, even when they're running away, things are just super, super well done. There's some brutality in this series that's just really intense, really in depth. There's a savagery to it. I mean, the Alerans are not really looked upon as civilized in a certain sense. In some ways they are. They have that veneer, but you really get that vibe of the old Roman conqueror, bunch of bastards who just enslave and pillage and take over whatever the fuck they want, and there's the occasional good person around, but overall it's basically you survive strength before anything, and that's how the world is. Like, this is how those people are. So seeing that kind of gentleness, kindness, kind of ethics explored, but also always at the forefront, is this pure on, this is life, this is nature. It's, you live or you die. It's basically how it is. And so Jim Butcher did a really, really good job in this book of really showing how rough living out in the world even if you have magic is. And it's surprising really because you would think the contrast between such a young child and an older woman would be, kind of a little bit too much to balance out, but it's done really well. And we do get some point of view from Tavi's aunt, and she's quite a fascinating character also. She has basically mainly just a water fury, but she's extremely strong and she's extremely smart, and following her along is pretty damn fun also. And you get the gist that there's a lot she's hiding. And so there's politics kind of running all through the story, but it's always in this kind of like background. It's going to be developed more, so it's kind of more of a foreshadowing. Whereas the main story is really just this rough ride of Amara and Tavi, like almost getting killed every 15 seconds. So that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Yeah, you can tell I like it. I like it a lot. I would give this book, even though people might not agree with me, I give this book a solid 9 on 10, just because pacing is great, action is great, character development is really great. The world building is really well done. It slowly just allows us to acculturate and understand more and more of the other things, and the foreshadowing is perfect. It's little nuggets that are dropped here and there, and just the way things are said and expressed, you really get to know, like, okay, this is really going to build up in the other book. And so I would highly recommend you check this out. Otherwise, I'll be sad. Honestly, I will be sad if you don't check it out. So do it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down below. Check out the website geektales.ca, and I will attempt to make more videos. Honestly, I started a new job and friggin' tired. Super tired. Luckily, winter is 3 weeks, a month away from being sort of finished. So I will slowly start to come alive and have more energy and attempt to make more videos, and also, of course, get my writing done. Got so many stories to write. So little time. It's a difficult life, people. Difficult life. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Have fun.